The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Initiatives for the development of green economy, the mining industry's opportunities and challenges, the internationalization of Georgia's education system, topics pertaining to cooperation within the scope of the Black Sea platform and the directions of the development of the Middle Corridor transit road were all discussed at the Investors' Council meeting this week. Transparency International is alarmed and calls against the adoption of a proposed new law that would require non-profit organizations receiving foreign funding to register as foreign agents in Georgia. If approved, the legislation would have a serious negative impact on the already shrinking space for civil society and independent media in the country. It would also undermine future progress against corruption in Georgia. A vibrant civil society is one of Georgia's greatest assets. The proposed legislation is not about transparency, but about labeling and demonizing independent civil society. If passed, it will also derail future progress in a wide range of areas, including anti-corruption, Delia Ferreira Rubio, chair of Transparency International, said. The Sector Economy and Economic Policy Committee hosted yet another dialogue between the public and private sectors to discuss the challenges in manufacturing construction materials and personal protective equipment. The attendees addressed the lengthy document and pertinent recommendations gleaned from the survey. The construction industry is one of the committee's main directions, so it was essential to learn about the difficulties this industry is facing, according to the committee's chair, David Songulashvili. This is The Checkpoints. I'm Elena Vangelashvili, author and the host of the show, and the Checkpoints team is ready to sum up Business and Economics Week for you. Israeli Ambassador to Georgia, Hadas Maitzad, shared her views with the Checkpoints, and we'll start our program analyzing what are some of the main relation points of the two countries, what could Israel offer to Georgia's economic development, and what are some plans for the future. Here are some insights from the ambassador.
Hello. Since August 2022, Ms. Hadas Esther Maitzad is an Israeli ambassador to Georgia, but she has been serving as an Israeli diplomat since 2006. Ms. Maitzad served as a chief of staff of the political director of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Jerusalem, Israel, since August 2018. From 2013 to 18, Hadas worked at the Israeli Permanent Mission to the United Nations first as a counselor for the sustainable development, and since 2015 as Minister Counselor for Political and Strategic Affairs and head of the political team. Also, from 2007 to 2009, she headed the public diplomacy section of the Israeli Embassy in Tokyo, Japan. But this is not all. Ms. Maitzad joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 2006 after serving as a captain for 8 years in the Israeli Air Force at the rank of captain. Ms. Maitzad was born and raised in Arad, Israel, and she has one daughter. This is a short biography of Madam Ambassador, who is visiting us today. Madam Ambassador, thanks for visiting us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let me congratulate you for this position. It's a little bit late, congratulations, but still.
Thank you very much, and I'm very, very happy to be here. And I can say, because I've been here for a little bit more than 6 months, that I'm very much enjoying my posting here in Georgia.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you have some kind of worked out a kind of plan that maintains those priorities that you will focus on during these following years on the position of Ambassador of Israel.
Yes. like every ambassador, the job is to enhance and to deepen the bilateral relation. And I'm happy to say that we are starting from quite a high point because the relation between Georgia and Israel are excellent. I mean, between the countries and also between the people. We are talking about historical bonds. And the embassy, my predecessor, they have been very, very active here in the field of economic growth, tourism, culture, and of course, governmental cooperation. But you asked me what my priorities are. So my priorities are to expand our economic ties between Georgia and Israel. I think that the potential is, we are far from meeting the full potential. I think that this has to be, that this is my priority because of the situations that are taking place in this region, because of what Israel has become to be, and I think that this is where the focus should be with, you know, specific emphasis on innovation, entrepreneurship, and areas that I think that we both can benefit a lot from.
So mostly economy. These are like our main topic as well?
A lot on economy. Of course, on the same side, we are continuing with extensive cultural activity. We are continuing with a very good bilateral and cooperation in multilateral arena. I mean, we'll have to say that there will be a focus on economy, but then again, as an ambassador, everything is important. To have the balance between the different legs is also extremely important for us.
Yeah, and during your first visit with the Prime Minister of Georgia, there were mentioned that trade, tourism, and economy, like in general, were like the main topics of the discussion.
Yes.
So what have you like planned in this regard? I mean, like the specific steps you have planned.
So I think that the first thing that we would like to happen as soon as possible in 2023 is a meeting of the Joint Economic Committee. This is a governmental committee that hasn't met for a long time, and this committee will allow both governments, I mean, it's usually combination of a few ministries sitting together at high level and discussing the potential, but also not less important, the barriers that we have the responsibility as governments to remove in order to allow the business sector to succeed and to enhance its investment or its cooperation. On tourism, I have to say that there is a lot of investment by the Ministry of Tourism of Georgia in order to attract here more and more Israeli tourists. There's going to be a huge delegation in Israel, I believe in March, in one of the conferences that are going to be held in Israel. And again, there is here a Georgian initiative, but we are very much supporting and trying to assist of a company that is going to hold a roadshow of Georgian companies that will be going to Israel for several days, and there will be a small conference, and we are assisting from our side in doing the matching and making sure that the different unions of exporters and other sectors, that they will be aware of this event, and that we will see many Israeli companies coming, and hopefully we'll see matches come out of it.
Yeah. But we have some of Israeli investors and businesses in Georgia already. Have you already met them? What are their concerns?
I met them, and I have to say that most of them, it's not concerns, it's a lot of interest. People are following the news about the different announcements, the middle corridor and everything that has to do, I mean, the MOU about the new cable for the electricity cable, that I think that people are watching with a lot of interest about the development in this region, in the Caucasus, and also considering the implication, I mean, taking into account the implication of the war in Ukraine. I will also say that yesterday I actually attended a meeting of the Israeli-Georgia Chamber of Commerce that is now back into full activity after some challenges during the time of the COVID, of the pandemic. And I think it's very important for people to know that, I mean, there is an active Chamber of Commerce for everybody who has interest to work to invest here in Georgia, to work in Israel, and they are a very good and professional address for answers, for information, for assistance, alongside, of course, with what we as the embassy are doing on this matter.
And investments from Israel to Georgia in 2021 has been increased if we compare it to 2019 and 2020. We don't have like the full numbers from like the 2022, but the preliminary data of 9 months shows the upward trend. How do you think, what might be those areas that might be potentially interesting for Israeli ambassadors?
So I think many. I will start by saying that I think that agriculture is still an important sector. Agricultural products are attractive, whether it's, of course, the wine and the food. Only recently, Georgian pumpkin is now being exported to Israel.
Interesting.
Yes. And there is much more that we can do, obviously. The second thing is, I mean, we have the ongoing tourism and real estate that I believe will continue. I mean, tourism-wise, we're talking about more than 200,000 Israelis who are coming here to Georgia every year and traveling. I think that if you're looking at the top 10 of incoming tourism to Georgia, Israel is the only one among the top 10, which is not a neighboring country, which is not from the region. And this is also, I think, it's not a classical direct investment, but still it's, of course, contributing a lot to the economy here. Film and TV production. Recently, there are more and more Israeli production companies who are coming here to shoot. I think it has to do also with the fact that Ukraine is no longer, or at the moment, is not as available as it used to be. But I'm very happy to learn about more and more, whether it's TV series or movie production that are taking place here in Georgia. So this, I think, is also maybe part of the increase that we are seeing. And as I said, in the field of IT and innovation, this is definitely a field that we need to constantly look for opportunities to bring together business people from both sides to work together and to develop both economies together.
Yeah, sure. Let me ask you about the employment program that has been launched during your predecessor, Mr. Rangidor. So at what stage we are now on these regards, and do we have some numbers already? Do we have some results?
So there are some results. I will have to say that we are not sharing numbers publicly, but yes, I mean, there is an agreement between the government of Georgia and Israel, work agreement about nurses that can come and work in Israel. It's an ongoing effort to recruit and to find the people with the right training in order that will fit this agreement. I think that this is a very good opportunity for people in the field of nursing that are looking to work for some time abroad, and I will advise them to look at the website of the Ministry of Health, and they will see all the details there.
So on the contrary, we have the deficit of nurses on the labor market of Georgia.
So here I will say that, I mean, I have a lot of respect, and at the end of the day, of course, I mean, I'm not trying to take Georgian nurses from Georgia.
But Israeli
this is another option. Also, the number that we are talking is not going to change dramatically the whole field of nursing here in Georgia. And this I can understand if at the end of the day there is a deficit here. But this was one this was agreed between the two governments as a field in which we can have cooperation and to give people options. Also, it's not forever. We're usually talking about a short period of working and then coming back, and I think that the one who will come back will also come back with additional experience based on their time in Israel.
And here I would like to ask you about the statistics of working visas issued by Israeli government for Georgians. What are these numbers?
So again, we are not sharing numbers about visas. It's usually private information, but the system, the mechanism is indeed coming based on an agreement between the government.
But it's increasing, decreasing.
I don't know at the moment. Honestly, I cannot tell you for sure if it's increasing or decreasing. But I will say that it is important that people who are coming to work in Israel will do it legally, and will do it with the right visa and with the right papers. Otherwise, it can have unfortunate implication about the relation. But again, as I said, I will advise everybody who is seeking to maybe go abroad for a little time and to come back to look for the information about how it can be done legally.
Okay. Trade. Let's move to the trade part. By 2030, the number of countries with which Georgia will have free trade agreements will increase by 7. This is like the stated from the side of Georgian government, and Israel is among them. So, do you have any any tangible steps or I don't know plans in this regards? I mean, with the negotiations with Georgian government.
So the first step should be the meeting of the joint committee. This should be the first step. This is for us the best platform. It brings together Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with, if decided, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Tourism. It depends on the field that both governments identify as priority for cooperation. And this, I think, is the first step in order for us to fully understand what is the current situation and where the potential lies.
Okay, and when I was seeing the statistics of trade between Israel and Georgia, honey is one of the not main product, but for Georgian honey, Israeli is one of the main market. So why Israeli people are interested in Georgian honey, and how can we increase these statistics?
I can imagine they're interested because they realize the quality of the Georgian honey, and this is what it takes. And now, and usually, once one company is entering the Israeli market, and people understand that it's good and they appreciate the quality, then other importers are seeking to of course, enlarge it. I personally received some request from one of the honey producers in Israel that was asking how they can get in touch with honey producers in Georgia in order to start import to Israel some more honey. I'm happy that it's happening. We will do what we can in order to assist honey producers in Georgia who are interested in finding, in having contact the Israeli market. And I think that the explanation for it is just when you have good product, it sells itself.
What other products might be interesting, or maybe services might be interesting for Israeli market, I mean, to export from Georgia?
So I'm going back to this exhibition, to this roadshow of Georgian business companies that is going to take place in the coming weeks. And they, again, together with the Chamber of Commerce that is active in Israel. For me, it will be interesting to see because they're coming with a variety of companies from food products, healthy food products, until startups in IT. And I think that this will be interesting to see what are the, which companies are more attractive to the Israeli market. Because I think, again, we have the classic one, food products, wine, Georgian wine, obviously. You mentioned honey, but I'm interested to see in what are the other companies that will attract the attention of the average Israeli importer.
Okay, and my final question at this moment will be related to your plans only for 2023. So what are your goals as an ambassador to reach during this whole year?
So my goal, I think that I pretty much laid them out throughout the entire interview. I think you can guess that it has a lot to do with finding ways to enhance economic ties. Alongside with, as I said, I mean, Georgia is now a member at the UN, at the Human Rights Council in Geneva. It's important for us to work together to maintain and to enhance a very good cooperation between the government on various issues. So I'm not going to go into all the details because it will be quite long, but I will say, if you're going back to the economic sphere, that for me also part of being new ambassador to Georgia, 23 is also about learning better the market here, the opportunities that are relevant to Israeli investors and for Israeli companies in order to be able to report back to the relevant organs in Israel about what is happening here and where do we see the potential to enhance and to increase. So I am going to work, but I also have a lot of learning to do in the coming year.
Wish you big success.
Thank you very much.
That would be really great for Georgia as well. And thanks for visiting us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for giving me this platform and the option to discuss about embassy activity in the economic sphere. Thank you very much.
What are some of the main news and outlook from Georgia's economy this week? Here is our review of the weekly proceedings in Georgia's economy.
Government officially starts taking actions for building Anaklia port. Construction will start this year. It was announced by Irakli Garibashvili, Prime Minister of Georgia, at the executive government meeting on Monday. According to the head of the government of Georgia, 51% will belong to the state, while 48% will be tendered internationally. Nevertheless, the government will not wait until investors express their interest, and construction works will commence this year. This task is to start the construction of Anaklia port this year. Also, roads and highways are actively constructed, airports extended, and other concepts developed. So we have positive news in every direction, concluded Irakli Garibashvili, Prime Minister of Georgia. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili expresses hope that fuel prices will continue to decrease. He has announced this during his speech before the government meeting. The Prime Minister recalled the meeting of the ministers of the economic bloc with the oil importers and talked about their promise that fuel prices would continue to decrease. At the meeting, it was revealed that the margins they have set were not reasonable, and we got a promise from them that prices would start decreasing. The prices started to decrease, and they promised to reduce the price of fuel even more. This, of course, will help our people and inflation as well. It will significantly reduce the level of inflation. Prices are reduced for imported oil by the importers. We had their arguments, and the issue was related to the management of reserves, said Garibashvili. At the same time, the Prime Minister warns the importance that if the margins don't decrease, the government will introduce regulations, although taking into account the European practice. In January 2023, 6,000 vehicles worth of $104 million we exported from Georgia to foreign countries. This volume was 187% more compared to the same period of the previous year. Most of the re-export cars are used, and the average unit price totals to $70,000. Azerbaijan is the first by the re-export, where 2.4 thousand cars worth of $28 million were re-exported. Armenia ranks the second with re-export of $24 million, while Kazakhstan ranks third with re-export of $21 million. Top 10 countries by car re-export are as follows: Azerbaijan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan, China, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, Belarus. Georgian corridor handled more than 34,000 trucks in January. Toll revenues were also record-breaking, amounting to 12 million lari in just 1 month. The growth amounted to 125%. The tax increase in the budget is related to the decision of Georgian government, as the toll fee is grown for transit trailers from June 20, so each trailer will have to pay 350 lari instead of 200 lari. Only in a month, over 7,500 more trucks used the Georgian corridor. According to the data of Ministry of Economy, 32.5 million tons of cargo were transported by roads through the Georgian corridor in 2022. The increase was small, totaling to 500,000 tons. The Sector Economy and Economic Policy Committee hosted yet another dialogue between the public and private sectors to discuss the challenges in manufacturing, construction materials, and personal protective equipment. The construction industry is one of the committee's main directions, so it was essential to learn about the difficulties this industry is facing, according to the committee's chair David Songulashvili. The construction industry has a large workforce to provide suggestions that will produce the intended outcome and assist the industry. It's crucial to understand the difficulties in the direction of local manufacturing of one of the components, building materials and individual protective equipment. Also, we will continue to be actively involved if there are any other issues in the sphere of construction that are coordinated with the industry, David Songulashvili remarked. The committee and the government of Georgia will use the provided paper and recommendations to design, update, and enhance pertinent sectoral policies at the subsequent stage. which will hasten economic growth in the targeted regions. With the assistance of GIZ, the survey and conversation were carried out as a part of USAID Economic Security Program. Reducing prices is very important to us. Essential goods should not be sold with unreasonably high pricing margins. This impacts our population, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili stated at the government meeting. According to the Prime Minister, markups have grown by 70, 80 and even 100% in some cases, and it's unacceptable. Markups have grown by 70, 80 and even 100% in some cases, and it's unacceptable. Consequently, we have now started active work toward regulating this issue. We have also heard explanations for importers claiming that these 70-80% does not include their profits, but instead depends to some extent on the rules set by retailers, large chains, and we have serious legitimate questions concerning these rules. These rules have not been tried and tested in EU or European countries or in the Western world in general, the Prime Minister said. In addition, according to Irakli Garibashvili, the Ministry of Economy, acting on his instructions, will develop a relevant bill in relation to the EU Directive on Fair Trade. According to the Prime Minister, pricing margins will be set for importers and particular rules will be defined for retailers.
Stephen Mukioli, Chief Executive Officer at BKN 301, was in Tbilisi this week, and of course the checkpoints took the advantage. Following a successful career as an investor and tech entrepreneur, San Marino-born Mukioli launched the Neobank, which provides embedded financial services and token issuing services with a B2B model. He sees this as the first of many, as his aim is to open fintech banks outside the constraints of the European Union and in emerging markets from Central Asia to North Africa. More in Georgi Aronia's interview with the CEO.
Hi, Stephen. It's a pleasure to host you here in BMG's headquarters. It's always a pleasure to talk to foreign investors, foreigners interested in Georgia and their ventures here in our country.
No, yes, thank you very much.
Stephen, let's begin our conversation by talking about your very interesting company, BKN 301. You know, from what I researched about the company, it sounds very interesting, but it sounds very complicated at the same time. So could you explain what sort of company is it and what services do you provide?
Yes, of course. BKN 301 is a banking as a service company. So we provide financial technology services to corporates and also banks. So we provide the payment services, banking services, and also cross-border and remittances services to corporates that want to offer to their customers financial services to connect the financial world to the traditional customers' world, basically.
Let me ask you this. Why would banks use BKN 301 as some sort of mediator if they can have the same technology basically in-house, or can they?
Yeah, no, we can provide to banks a high-end technology related to financial business. So, you know, yes, of course, they could also do in-house some of the technology, but in general, they do not. So they prefer to use maybe some fintech provider like us to create some new products and innovative products in general. And we work also with the corporate. So with our license, we provide technology, financial technology to corporates that wants to provide, for example, innovation in the payment industry and for their customers.
I understand that you employ blockchain technology in the process. Could you elaborate on what areas of business are you employing blockchain, and why does it simplify processes for you?
Yeah, basically we provide a blockchain network to connect our customers abroad different countries. So in general, we are working today. We are strong in fast-growing markets. So we are based today in Egypt, Qatar, in the Republic of San Marino, of course, and in Georgia soon. In general, we connect all these countries and also the other countries that we will get in the future through our blockchain network to move money abroad countries with low fees and a better user experience for customers.
I understand that BKN 301 is a B2B platform. Are you interested in expanding to B2C or maybe even peer-to-peer?
No, because we work B2B because it's a B2B2C company. So we work with businesses and corporate, but the final customers, of course, is our retail customers. So we work with local companies, with customers to provide them solution, technology solution and financial solution. But we don't want to go in a country or directly with customers. We don't want to do that.
You employ tokenization as well as a part of the process. What are the benefits of it?
In general, tokenization is a way to avoid the physical process. So it's a good way to create fast connection. And for example, we use it a lot for cloud banking services. And also for payments in general. So we are focused on innovation in payments. So tokenization and also blockchain as well are good things for innovation in payments to avoid physical processing and old stuff related to payments.
Does it mean that in the process people can use your platform through various fiat currencies plus cryptocurrencies, or
Yes,
you have your own cryptocurrency?
No. We don't have our own cryptocurrency. We can manage, of course, also cryptocurrencies through digital wallet solution. We can manage also through cards, payment cards. We issue payment cards in general. So we can tokenize cards to allow payments, for example, with your mobile phone or mobile service in general. So it's a way to create a flow of payments, smooth flow of payments, to have a frictionless experience in the payment moment.
Let me ask you one question just to clarify my idea a little bit, because from what I saw, you partner up with MasterCard, one of the biggest.
Also Visa.
Also Visa as well. And so what is your role when we talk about MasterCard and Visa, because they're the biggest payment service providers in the world. So what is the additional value that you add to the whole chain?
Yeah, we are principal member basically of MasterCard, Visa, but also UnionPay, JCB, Alipay Plus. We use their license to issue cards, basically. So cards are issued by us, and also we use them also in the acquiring process, so to accept payment. So we provide basically to customers the possibility to accept the scheme, MasterCard, Visa, and the others, and also to have cards, MasterCard, Visa, and others, to move money, basically. So we are in the middle. We are of course, principal member of the schemes, and in the same time, we create technology to create a frictionless experience when you use your MasterCard or your Visa.
Do you envision BKN 301 becoming neobank one day?
No, we can work with neobank to provide them the backbone of their technology. So basically, our vision is to become the fast-growing market leader for banking as a service. So we are looking for neobanks to offer them the possibility to use our technology and our license to let them grow fast and to let them think only on marketing and user experience. We want to be focused on license and technology.
Steven, we're here in Georgia, so I'm very interested about your partnership with one of the leading IT companies here, which is Making Science Swift. So what could you tell me about your partnership?
Yeah, so we are a technology company, so we use a lot of developers, and we know very well Making Science Swift and the group in general. So we work with them to multiply and provide to our company best-in-class developers to increase the force of our workforce in developing new solutions. So we are very happy to work with them and also with the team here in Georgia of BKN inside of this group to provide the services that we are doing for us.
Let me ask you this. Are you, in general, how well aware are you of the Georgian in general startup ecosystem, tech company space? And the reason why I'm asking you that, and banking space as well, the reason why I'm asking you that is, are you interested in entering Georgian market somehow through BKN 301 one day?
Yeah, of course. We are in the process to enter in the Georgian market with BKN 301, of course. In general, I think Georgia is a fast-growing country, so it is interesting for me as an investor, but also for BKN as a corporate. In general, I think it's a good market. It's a growing market, you know, for geopolitical reason, but also for the economic region. It's a region and a country with a high growth, so we want to explore the startup space and the innovation space. Honestly, Georgia, it's quite impressive in innovation. So I saw a lot of interesting startups, and so I think it's a very good market.
You are an angel investor, right?
I run a venture fund in Luxembourg. So I invest with the fund.
You know, I work a lot with startups, and one of the most frequent thing they say is that there is good environment, there is good everything, but then there is lack of VC.
Yeah.
So maybe one day you.
No, this is why we are interested, and I'm interested in this country. But we are interested also in invest more because it's a virgin country for investment. So with all this innovation, could become a good market also in innovation.
Okay, and let me ask you the last question. In your opinion, what does the future of banking look like?
Oh, in general, I think the future of the banking system in general worldwide is traditional banks that we know today. The future is not related to what bank will do today in the future. Sorry, but the point is who own the customers. I think now, but mainly in the future, customers will be connected to brands, not only to banking services. So I think banking in general could become a way to have access to financial things, but I think in the future, the bank of the future is not a bank, it's a brand. It's a brand connected to customers that offer services and products, and the financial services are connected to these brands to provide products and services.
Well, that's a very interesting take on my question. Steven, thank you very much, and I wish you and BKN 301 all the best in the future.
Thank you very much.
More on this week's business news and outlook from our reporter Natia Taktakishvili.
Bioli Medical Wellness Resort located in Kojori will host its guests with renovated services this year. As Tamas Chedlidze, the founder of Bioli, told BMDG, demand growth has been observed from local customers. As for foreign guests, the resort has hosted 97 country citizens since its launch. According to Tamas Chedlidze, despite that tourists recovered last year, 2021 was more interesting for Bioli, as demand was rather high on medical wellness rest amid the pandemic. As the founder of the hotel notes, they have actually halved the cost of accommodations for Georgian citizens. Tamas Chedlidze explains that the price of accommodation at the resort depends on variety of procedures and services. Bioli Wellness Resort, located a 20-minute drive from Tbilisi, offers guests various wellness procedures in ecologically clean environment. Tamas Chedlidze started creating the Wellness Resort Bioli in 2005 in order to create a healthy life industry in the country, for which he has already invested $40 million USD. Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Tbilisi will be held this May for the first time after a 3-year delay due to the pandemic. The Fashion Week will take start on May 4, and both Georgian and foreign designers will present their fall-winter collections. According to Sofia Chonia, founder of Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week Tbilisi, more than 50 international guests will attend the show. Especially for this event, buyers, owners, and of leading showrooms, TV companies, photographers will come to Tbilisi. In addition, the Fashion Week will be attended by international representatives of Elle Magazine, Vogue, Sean Magazine, Forbes USA, The Guardian, Financial Times, New York Times, and etc. During the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, professionals, various masterclasses, exhibitions, panel discussions will be held by international fashion and art experts. In 2023, Factory Tbilisi will host the show. Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week is held since 2012. Clothes produced by Georgian designers belong to high-price segments, so the main share of the sales accounts for exports. As Georgian fashion houses declare, local customers make up only a small part of the total consumption. According to the international sales manager of the Georgian fashion house Material, Georgians make up only 2-3% of the brand's customers. Along with high cost of products, it's also caused by the fact that Georgians avoid trading with e-commerce as they prefer to fit the clothes on their body individually. According to Anna Webkhwadze, the collect store has been opened in Atoneli Street, where Material is also presented. She deeply hopes that the number of local buyers will increase. Designer Nina Zarku also talks about the lack of Georgian customers as they are unable to purchase the product due to the high price. So the founder of Zarku brand plans to add a new affordable line of shoes in the near future. Design studio Daje, which produces environmentally friendly furniture, is planning to export their products. David Bochorishvili, the founder of the enterprise, told BM.G. According to him, the company is at the initial stage of development and works on the production of children's furniture as well, for which European raw materials are used. Speaking on the Georgian market, the founder of Daje notes that their advantage on the competitive market is affordable prices. Daje furniture is sold online as well as in the furniture store Saba. Company Daje is operating on the market for a year and a half. The enterprise is located on Kakheti Highway and employs 3 people. The annual turnover of the company is from 7 to 10,000 lari. Emotia Wines, which creates souvenirs on a Georgian wine theme from natural stones, bronze and marble, is planning to increase the exports of its products. According to the founder Tamara Buladze, there is a high demand for souvenirs created on the theme of Georgian wine in the international market. As she told BM.G, it's important that the souvenirs made of natural stones visually resemble Georgian grapes as much as possible. Souvenirs of Emotia wines are already sold in several European countries, including Germany and France. Tamara Buladze notes that each souvenir is accompanied with passport in Georgian and English, which provides information about the history and winemaking of Georgia. As she notes, mostly representatives of the diplomatic sector are interested in their products. Company Emotia Wines was founded in 2020. In the local market, wine-themed souvenirs are sold at Home Concept Store Lopota and Chateau Mere. Prices range from 89 lari to 290 lari. Handmade apparel brand Darbaisel, which has resumed production after a 2-year break, makes modern clothes with elements of Georgian traditional headscarf Khabalakhi. The founder of the company, Ketevan Jincharadze, told BM.G she started making modern Khabalakhi as a hobby in 2016. However, she had to stop production for 2 years due to the pandemic, and the company resumed taking orders in summer 2022. Realization of Khabalakhi is made from home as well as from chateaus. We actively cooperate with Sinandali. Darbaiseli tries to maintain average prices. For example, the price of Khabalakhi ranges from 100 to 250 lari. Each Khabalakhi is unique as they don't resemble each other. The number of orders is individual, but as usual, we make 10 pieces per week, explains Ketevan Jincharadze. Leading manufacturer and supplier of furniture components, LTB will open a new enterprise soon. Marketing manager of LTB, Mariam Abdushalishvili, says that the company will open a factory in Avchala. Construction works are at the final stage and the new enterprise will be ready soon. LTB pallet showroom will be also located in the enterprise. Marketing manager of LTB notes that the company is also actively working in the direction of electric commerce, and very soon their customers will be able to choose and purchase products online. Company LTB was founded in 2004 and offers customers a wide range of furniture components, frames, and facade materials. Company AgroGardens planted apple orchards on 22 hectares in Gori village of Zerti with the financial support of Bank of Georgia. One of the priorities of the bank is business promotion and strengthening of agricultural management in the region. The total cost of the project is 7 million lari. The bank's investment amounts to 5,300,000 lari. The bank's financial resources were spent for cultivation of seedlings as well as for the purchase and arrangement of agricultural equipment, hail protection and drip irrigation systems. The company started planting gardens in 2021. The first harvest is expected in 2023.
For a pharmaceutical company with a high production capacity, having high-quality laboratories is of utmost importance. GM Pharma's Quality Control Department has established physical, chemical, and microbiological quality control laboratories, which guarantee high quality of the products manufactured by the pharmaceutical company. The reliability of the laboratory is determined by the professionalism of its employees, which is constantly improved by the company. The professionalism of the employees is reinforced by the annual professional testing that they engage in ever since the laboratory's establishment. Professional competitions are held in cooperation with a British company which operates around 3,000 laboratories in 160 countries. Since its establishment, the company has participated in similar competitions 30 times, during which about 100 results were analyzed. I would like to point out that all the results appeared in so-called green category. GM Pharma upholds all the national and international standards and owns certificates necessary for production. The company holds a GMP certificate issued by the Ukrainian regulator and the Georgian GMP certificate, and ISO 9001 standard, while the laboratories uphold the ISO 17025 standard, serving as proof of laboratory qualification. Accordingly, the company must host and undergo plant training and audits every year. 2023 is no exception, as we have already successfully passed the ISO 9001 audit at the beginning of February and the GMP audit by the Ukrainian regulator, while the repeated ISO 17025 audit is planned both in microbiological and physical-chemical laboratories.
The microbiological laboratory operates in three directions: the microbiological analysis of drug probes and suspicions, auxiliary means, and packaging. The laboratory has state-of-the-art technology and equipment. The possibilities of such equipment are great, as it allows us to fulfill all the processes and get detailed information, allowing us to get an accurate result. Modern technology, of course, requires knowledgeable staff too. We send our employees abroad for training and education, host webinars, and involve them in daily processes. All this allows us to conduct the most accurate research. Complete serial analysis of finished products, auxiliary products, semi-products, and pharmaceutical active ingredients is executed in the quality control laboratory, where all the parameters included in the specification are evaluated. The laboratory is involved in various processes such as ongoing stability studies, process validation, delay validation, cleanup validation, verification of analytical methods, and approval and transfer. The latter means the introduction of new analytical tools within the laboratory. The lab is equipped with cutting-edge modern equipment, as we mainly cooperate with leading companies such as Toledo, Sartorius, Eureka, Shimadzu, and Waste Technique. Due to the increase in the number of pharmaceutical tests done at our lab in the last 4 years, our in-house analytical team grew by 65%. Today, there are 22 employees in the quality control laboratory. Given that the company operates in Georgia and outside of it, we must fulfill the local and international standards, all reflected in audits that regulators carry out annually. It's a fascinating challenge from GM Pharma.
This is all for today. We will meet next Sunday, 11 a.m. sharp. But before that, follow our updates on BM.G and Forbes.G. Here's all you need to know about business and economics.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.